So we just finished watching Love Island USA Season 8, Episode 27, and 5 Islanders got dumped today. And I have to say that I think that today was a very fair dumping that I was very shocked and proud to see for the most part. There were parts that were not fair, but we're going to get into that, right? So in today's video, we're going to go over everything. We're going to go over all of the Islanders that were dumped, who was runner up. We're going to talk about which Islanders we're going to be giving credit to for not being on any BS today. And then we're also going to talk about a specific Islander that we need to hold accountable, which is why I said that it was a fair dumping for the most part. All right, so we're going to get into all that right now. So here's who was dumped from the island tonight. The first person to be dumped was Jen by herself, and this was done specifically through the recoupling because she was not picked by Gal, who ended up picking Amora. All right, so Jen was dumped first, and then they started off an activity where basically they had to vote off the least compatible couples. You want to explain that to them and how it worked?
So each couple had to decide which couple, other than themselves, of course. Well, they wouldn't want to vote for themselves anyway. But each couple had to vote for the couple that they thought were least compatible. They got two votes. So technically 4 votes, because each girl got 2 votes and each guy got 2 votes. And so they were in a circle and they had to have conversations within their couples about which connections that they felt weren't the strongest and which ones they felt were, worth leaving the villa, or which ones they thought were strong enough to stay.
Yep. And the results of those votes were Amora and Gal got the unanimous decision from everybody. Like every single couple picked Amora and Gal, which I thought was actually very fair and very honest.
And not a shocker at all.
Not a shocker at all. The next couple to get voted out behind them was Caleb and Jaden with 4 votes. Then we had the runners up, which were Kenzie and Dylan, who had 3 votes. So it could have gone either way because it came down to Zach and Kata's vote, and they ended up choosing Caleb and Jaden. And then that was followed up by Melanie and Sincere, both, getting 2 votes together, right? So, yeah, we're going to talk about this, right? Now, before we talk about what we think about each vote and each couple that got voted, I want to give credit where credit is due. Where I think they did a great job in this episode and why I said it was a fair dumping for the most part is, first, I want to give credit to Anaya and to KC for not voting for each other's couples at all. At all. They did not vote for each other because, sometimes people can have built up resentment, hate, and be biased. And they're like, I'm just going to vote for them just because I'm mad at them.
Yeah, like a certain Islander that we'll get into.
Exactly. A certain Islander that we will get into, right? So Casey and Anaya did not vote for each other for the sake of it, which was fair because this was about voting based off of compatibility. And let's be honest, both of them are in couples with people that they are compatible with.
Yep, much more compatible than when they were together.
Absolutely, much more compatible. So now I also want to say I want to give credit to the rest of the Islanders because not only did Casey and Anaya not vote for each other's couples, nobody in that island voted for either one of their couples because, again, I think it was fair. I think it was honest. I know a lot of y'all, hate Casey. A lot of y'all hate Anaya. Regardless of which side, which team you've been on, first of all, they made up. You don't got to beef no more. But secondly, that's not the point of this, right? Who's compatible, and they're incompatible couples. So I appreciate that, right? So I appreciate them going off of what the activity was actually meant to be. And some people like to base it off of friendships or just who they support or who they hate and things like that. So I think they did a great job not making it about that, okay? So let's get into the Islanders that were dumped. We already talked about Jen. We don't really got to talk about Jen and what we think about her being dumped. I mean,
she just was struggling getting a connection with anybody. Like, as soon as she thought she had a connection with somebody, that connection quickly fizzled out. And Gall really wasn't attracted to anybody. He was just there for the show, honestly, in my opinion. I don't think that he really had a genuine interest in getting to know any of those women. I think that he more so was just looking for somebody to latch onto, to create some viral moments and to get, publicity for his coffee shop, which,
yeah,
hopefully it works out for him.
He got a coffee shop?
Yeah, I think he said he owns a coffee shop. He was the one that was in charge of making all the coffees, and that was one of the first things that he said to, I forget who it was. Was it Kenzie or one of them? When he was like, oh, yeah, I do yeah, it was Kenzie. And Kenzie was, like, jumping for joy, like, wet in her panties about him being able to do a coffee art.
Yeah, I don't really, think too much about. I don't pay too much attention to Gal, to be honest. But it's funny that his whole section and the whole drama, quote unquote drama about this episode, because I don't think it was really drama. I think we already knew that he low key hated Jen because he started up a fake argument with her.
High key hated Jen.
High key hated Jen. He started up a fake argument with her to end their connection. So we knew he was gonna pick Amora, but that was supposed to be the drama. But it was all for nothing because, like we said, he ended up getting eliminated later with Amora in a unanimous decision vote. But yeah, Jen was dumped because obviously we know they weren't compatible. It wasn't working. Now we're gonna get to Amora and Gall. This was the most obvious decision, and this was a very honest vote by the entire island.
Yeah, Amora had already said that she ain't like him, so
she didn't like him, and honestly, Gall only picked her because it was between her and Jen, and he hates Jen, and he started an argument with Jen. He deaded that connection. You know what I'm saying? Amora was just there, to be honest. There is literally no connection here. Even if you listen to his speech, I don't remember what he said in his speech, but I don't remember because it was nothing notable, right? You just got to give a speech just because you have to. But the reality is he does not really care about Amora in that way. They might be cool, they might be friends, but they don't have a genuine connection. So I think all of the Islanders saw that. That's why nobody was being petty in that way and voting,
And they themselves saw that and knew that. As soon as Ariana said that two other couples was going home tonight, they knew.
And you know what's funny? I actually want to point something out because like you said, they themselves knew it. Because usually when couples would get votes that maybe they did not expect to get, Ariana would ask, how do you feel about that? I don't think I saw her ask Amora and Gall not one time.
She didn't.
How do you feel about getting those votes? Because they fucking knew why they were getting those votes. Everybody knew why they were getting those votes. They got no complaint. You got no complaints out of them. Nobody was upset about it. They weren't upset about it. They knew why. They were just there because of circumstance, like everybody said. It got so bad to the point that they were skipping over the speeches. Usually they would show all the speeches as to why they were eliminating them. They gotten so many votes, they were like, all right, we don't need to go over the speeches anymore. It was just like, yeah, we would like to dump them more and go. They started fast forwarding for us, right? Anyway, let's go on to who was next, right? So Caleb and Jaden. Now, here's what I came into it saying. I originally told you while we were watching it that I think the least compatible, obviously, Amora and Gall. And Caleb and Jaden, this entire episode, have been fighting about the fact that Caleb was not getting enough affection from Jaden.
Yeah, and that they just weren't connecting. He was requesting and requiring all of these like gestures from Jaden, but she didn't feel as though they were warranted because she didn't feel as though they were actually deepening their connection.
Yeah, she was trying to say that she didn't feel it was warranted, and he's just like, well, I want this to talk more deeply, and she's like, well, I want to talk more deeply before I give you that. So they just weren't seeing eye to eye on that, and that was kind of the beef that we got, the quote unquote drama that we got for this entire episode. It almost felt manufactured drama to me.
Yeah, very random.
Yeah, because Casey and I made up like Sincere's already trying to make things up to Melanie, but we need a story somewhere. It almost felt like production went up to them and was like, hey, we need some problems today, all right? Because we need our ratings, and we're not gonna, get through this without some drama. So they started some drama with them. So I don't know how real that was, but regardless, I didn't think nothing of the connection. I didn't think anything of it. And actually, I pointed it out to you while they were talking and they were having this discussion. I told you I couldn't even pick a side in their discussion because we don't see enough of their connection and them talking in their chats and them bonding for me to have any input on what's going on. I was like, I haven't seen them talk, so I don't know if Caleb's right and she's showing no interest, giving no compliments, or I don't know if Jaden's right that he's not willing to talk about anything other than, hey, how's our connection going? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because honestly, seeing him choose her at Casa, and just seeing how they interacted in Casa more, I was really excited for their connection, especially after he had, what's his name? Caleb had just come off of the bullshit with Kenzie. Mm-hmm. I was really excited for him to find somebody and explore the connection with Jaden. It's just really unfortunate that I honestly feel like Kenzie really did a number on him and he was just really closed off after that. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, that's what Jaden described him as, just being very closed off and just she wasn't able to like pierce through the surface with him. And it's just really unfortunate. I was really hoping for more for them.
I actually didn't even really think about that, but now that you point that out to me, I think you're right? He might be have been so traumatized by his situation with Kenzie.
He was.
Yeah, to the point where notice the thing that he was asking for was reassurance to let me know that you like me, give me compliments, show me that you want me, right? He was saying all these things probably because his experience with Kenzie got him like second guessing everything about his connection.
Yeah.
So he's like, I need to see everything and then some to know that you really do want me so I don't get overly invested. So yeah, Kenzie did do a number on him. I ain't gonna lie. You right about that,
he definitely
man.
came in more confident than when he left out, which is truly unfortunate.
He's a sweet guy though.
Very sweet. He seems very sweet.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the next one, right? The runner-up right behind them. It was between Caleb and Jaden and Kenzie and Dylan.
Kenzie and Dylan could have kicked rocks. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I would have been fine with Kenzie and Dylan going too. I think the reasons for their votes were valid as well because, as we all know, the entire internet knows, Kenzie is a supreme villain and she does not see that shit at all. She is the female Sincere. She is. Absolutely is. And I'm actually point this out, and I've said this to you multiple times in conversation. She has gone through more people than Sincere. We've seen Sincere go through Soul, Melanie, and Amora. We've seen Kenzie go through just about half the villa, if not the entire villa, and make out with everybody. And the thing that pisses me off with Kenzie is how often she keeps saying that she sees kisses as handshakes.
Yep.
Like, that's disgusting, bro. Like, for you to say that you see kisses as handshakes, like, hey, nice to meet you almost.
Yep.
That's ridiculous, man. One thing I want to point out.
We're not talking about any kind of like just peck kiss. We're talking about full makeout sessions. Yo. She said that's a handshake.
Bro, she's having full on makeout sessions with everybody. And she's just like, I just had to do it to know if the connection was real. I'm just going to say this. For me personally, for me to know if a connection is real, I just need to talk to you. And I need to talk to you as much as I can to see if we're compatible, right? Sure, you want to know if you're sexually compatible, but that could come later. The connection is emotional, right? And you could work on sexual compatibility as well. You tell your partner things you like, things like that. All you got to do is talk to somebody. I'm not kissing you, especially outside of a challenge, unless I know you're the person I want. Or at least not doing full-on makeout sessions the way that she's doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the thing. And like, even if you want to say like, okay, I need to kiss this person to see if sparks fly, that's fine. But that's not the same thing as a handshake. When I'm shaking somebody's hand, it's usually just because I'm meeting them for the first time. It's not because I'm trying to test to see if the sparks fly.
Yeah, exactly. So point being, they got 3 votes, and I thought it was very fair and that all the other Islanders saw it. The thing is, at movie night, they didn't see all of the clips of Kenzie. They have so many more clips of Kenzie they could have played.
They sure didn't play everything. And I wish they would have really, like, revealed everything with her because she's a menace.
She's
a menace.
She's a menace to society that acts like she doesn't see it. I just wanted to be clear. Me thinking that they needed all these votes is not because of Dylan, but it's because of the reasons they gave at the fire. Well, yeah, the fire pit. They were in a circle, right? It was the reasons that they gave though that Kenzie has been exploring a ton. Like, ridiculously.
And now that everybody's onto her, she's like, no, but I really like Dylan. Girl, please.
Yeah, come on. Everybody.
We're on to you. That's why you want to take Dylan so serious.
Exactly. Everybody gave the reason as to what was going on with Kenzie as like, it's Kenzie. We're voting for you because of Kenzie and everything that Kenzie has done. And now, let's talk about it since we're here, right? Because we were going to hold somebody accountable. We already started holding Kenzie accountable. But I don't want to hold her accountable during how she acted when they were voted for first, right? We'll talk about the other thing I want to hold her accountable for later, right? But Kenzie was mad at Melanie because Melanie was one of the people to vote for her, to say that they're least compatible.
Yeah.
And Melanie's reason was that she wholeheartedly believed, and this is valid, that Kenzie would keep exploring if it was not for the whole villa basically blowing up on her and calling her out and her being put on the spot about how she's just, just want to be with every guy in the villa.
And would
and did and always needed 2 guys to like her, and most of the time just wanted to beat out her friends, to show her friends that I could take your man and stuff like that.
And claimed to have never had a roster, but is expert level.
Exactly. So she's mad at Melanie for saying that, which is true. If you did not get any backlash, if Kenzie got no backlash whatsoever for this, she would have kept making out with Gall and anybody else that would make out with her.
Absolutely. She wanted her coffee art every morning.
Yes. So she's mad at Melanie because they're friends. And she said to Melanie that she didn't even consider voting for her and Sincere because they're friends. And that's what I'm talking about, right? This is fair for the most part. Kenzie is why this, like, the one person that was not fair in this to me when she was voting and when she was being voted for. Right now, we're talking about her being voted for. The whole point of this is not to vote for your friends. This is not Friendship Islands or
to keep your friends safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
That's what I
because
mean.
they're your friends.
Yeah, it's not to just keep your friends safe just because they are your friends. It was not a friendship vote. It was a compatibility vote. And out of everybody here, outside of Caleb, Jaden, Amora, and Gall, it was you and Dylan. And it wasn't because of Dylan, it was because of you. You ruining things, but you got to own up to that. And she's not owning up to it. She's acting confused. She's acting hurt. I like how Melanie just stopped it when she said she disagrees with her. She said, understandable. Because Melanie don't got to argue with Kenzie, bro.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time to go back and forth with Kenzie.
Yeah, but Kenzie's ridiculous. Everything that Melanie said was true. Everything that everybody was saying to her as to why they were getting voted for was completely true. All right. We're going to get back to Kenzie, but just to mention who was, the next people behind Kenzie and Dylan, it was Melanie and Sincere with 2 votes. I don't feel like this really needs explanation. And Melanie and Sincere knew why they got the votes because every time Ariana asked them how they felt about it, they said understandable.
Yeah, people just thought that they have a toxic relationship, toxic connection going on. Which they do. Which is, They do. Sincere is a menace to society, and Melanie just can't let him go. Yeah, she just can't let him go.
And those people were really honestly just trying to save Melanie and get her out of the connection that she can't seem to pull herself out of. So they're kind of trying to do it for her. And Melanie had no arguments. She said, I feel, when Parmita that gave her the speech?
Yeah.
Yeah, Parmita gave her a speech basically saying that, I know y'all like each other, but basically it's toxic. And Melanie took no offense to it. She said, honestly, I feel like that's just what a real friend would tell me. Mm-hmm. Like a real friend looking out for me. You know what I'm saying? Which I wonder if Anaya and all the other girls took any slight to that in their heads because all of them are like Team Sincere. They were saying it in this episode that they're Team Sincere. But it's true. A real friend would tell you if you need to move on from somebody. And, hey, Parmita did that for her, which the other girls are not. I guess the other girls are cheering for Sincere because they know she likes Sincere. So
because
they want
everybody loves a redemption story. Yeah. But you know what? Not everything needs to be redeemed. Sometimes, like Melanie even said herself, was it in the last episode that sometimes the guy just needs to lose you.
Yeah,
Like, he just needs to lose her.
Yeah, quick reference, though. Sincere did try to make it up to Melanie. He tried to start making it up to Melanie today with having the little date. She thought he wasn't bringing her breakfast the whole time. It was super cute. Yeah, it was cute. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not, Sincere does a lot of wrong things, but this was a cute thing. He did the rose petals leading into, I forget which part, if it was Say Less or So. No, it wasn't Soul Ties. I forget which place it was.
It was Say Less.
It was Say Less, leading into Say Less. And he just did the rose petals, had her breakfast over there instead of bringing it up to her, and they ate breakfast together. So that was a cute little moment. Even
though the other night he should have taken his ass outside to sleep.
And I was gonna bring that up because if we gonna give him credit for that, we gotta hold him accountable. I forgot who it was that said it to him.
Bryce and Zach.
They said to him,
and whoever else was around.
Yes, they said to him, if Melanie is going to choose to sleep outside, you need to go out there and offer the bed to her and tell her that you will sleep outside.
Which the poor baby didn't even end up sleeping in Soul Ties because she was scared of the owl that was over there. So she ended up sleeping in the couches with no overhead cover at all.
Exactly. And you know what? I swear Sincere nodded and agreed to it when they said, hey, you should sleep outside if she's trying to sleep outside and give her the bed. And they were like, hey, if she chooses the bed, then great, y'all can sleep together. But if it's outside, you be like, nah, I'm outside. He did not do that. No. That nigga slept comfortably in that bed.
He got snuggled up real quick.
Snuggled the fuck up. And I think with Zach.
He said, man, I'll fix it tomorrow.
Didn't Zach get in bed with him? I feel like I remember Zach getting in bed with him. I don't remember.
Somebody did.
I feel like it was Zach. But either way, Sincere should have gave that bed up. So if we going to give him credit for the date, we got to discredit him for what he did.
Hold him to the fire.
Yeah, hold him to the fire. You know what I'm saying? I'm fair over here, right? If you do something right, I'ma say it. You do something wrong, I'ma say it. There's no bias here. We just holding people accountable for everything, all right? Yeah, Sincere, you should have gave up that bed for Melanie. In this episode, Melanie did get back into the bed with Sincere, so she's trying to warm up to him, but they slept with a pillow in between them. Yeah, they're trying, but I ain't gonna lie. I feel like being at this dumping and getting the 2 votes that they did, I can see it in Melanie's face. And even during the recoupling, I can
think
see
she's getting exhausted.
Yeah, she's just
I
so
don't think they're gonna last
exhausted,
much
man.
longer. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, even with him trying, even with him doing the date, during the recoupling, she looked upset while he was picking her, like not happy at all.
Because sometimes the damage has already been done.
Yeah, the damage is done. She was not happy at all. And then while they're standing up there and people are basically reminding her of all the shit he's done, she's like, yeah, we're only, in her head, I know she's like, we're only getting votes because of him. And it's just reminding her of all the problems. And kind of, I feel like even if he moved them 1 step forward, it's moving her 2 steps back in her head, because it's just always brought up to her. There's no way she can even move on and forget about this, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But obviously we know why Melanie and Sincere got 2 votes. Other than that, let's talk about what we're gonna hold Kenzie accountable for again, right? Because there was one other couple that received 1 vote. You know who that couple was? Corbin and Parmita. You know whose decision that was to vote for Corbin and Parmita? Who you think it was?
Good old Kenzie.
Kenzie, or as he likes to call her, Kenz, right?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. But though, yo, Kenzie is so ridiculous, bro.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I'm gonna tell you right now, this vote was nothing but a hate vote. And when she gave her reasoning for it, she was trying to say it's just lustful, blah blah. It was a whole lot of nothing though.
I loved Parmita's response. She said, well, if it seems lustful, it's because we are both very attractive human beings. Mm-hmm. We go to the gym, we take care of ourselves, and we look the fuck good. So yeah, it's gonna look lustful.
Yeah. But she said you also she said you also haven't been seeing our chats either though.
Right. She hasn't. She ain't in they chats.
Exactly. You're not in those chats. So she tried to make it seem like she had legitimate reason. Corbin basically told her it sounded like a whole lot of nothing to him. Parmita said the same thing. And even after the dumping was done, Parmita went straight up to Kenzie and she was like, yo, you need to stop being petty. You need to stop being petty, like for real. And Kenzie was like, I'm not being petty. I'm not being petty. Kenzie, bro,
please.
Come on now. Like, we holding you accountable here, Kenzie. Everybody else in this episode did a great job today. Kenzie, what the fuck was you doing, man? You the only one in here trying to vote off of some BS. Let's stop it, man.
Even just her face when Parmita was explaining to her why her reasoning was bullshit. It was just so clear that she had nothing else to say. She is just jealous of that girl. She is jealous that she lost Corbin.
Yes.
To someone who is much more attractive. Sorry, not sorry. She's just upset. She's just upset and petty. And it's like, it goes to show you that she really does not care about Dylan. Because if she actually cared about Dylan, and she actually had a connection with him, it wouldn't matter what Corbin and her are over there doing. It wouldn't matter to her, but it matters to her. So she is just clearly there, just trying to latch on, stay on the show as long as she can. And she tried it. She tried to get Corbin and Parmita out, but it ain't working.
Yes, and I'll say this. Obviously, it was disrespectful what Corbin said in the heart rate challenge or whatever. He's already apologized for it. He's owned up to it. And even if he didn't, I'm gonna be real with you. This vote was not about that. Whether or not he apologized, he didn't, he was disrespectful, he wasn't. It was not about that. Nope. It was a compatibility vote.
Yep.
Kenzie did this vote completely and clearly out of spite, which Parmita let her know, which Corbin also let her know in the actual event of the vote. And Kenzie didn't own up to it. Kenzie wouldn't own up to the fact that she was voting out of spite. Kenzie wouldn't own up to the fact that she is a person that would have kept exploring had she not been held to the fire. She's not owning up to things. She's just acting like I don't know what people are talking about. And it's actually I'm not even going to say getting very annoying. It's been very annoying. It's so
all this
annoying.
To say, the true villain of Love Island USA Season 8 is Kenzie.
It's Kenzie, bro. The only time that Kenzie will take accountability is if 5, 6, 7, 8 people are telling her at one time that she's wrong.
And even then, she'll barely do it.
And even then, she'll barely do it. Because she said to the girls, like, I understand in the last episode of, like, all the things she was doing wrong, how it looked bad when she was playing Caleb. But then when she got behind the scenes, I forgot who she was talking to in a one-on-one conversation. She basically tried to downplay it again. And she's always saying, I'm just trying to be myself and explore connections. And I don't know what it's like having hoes. I'm sorry. Like, she always got an excuse for it, bro. She always got an excuse for it. Kenzie, we gotta hold you accountable, man. You gotta do better. But overall, I think this episode of Love Island was valid, and the dumpings were valid. I didn't have to leave being upset that I feel like, you know, somebody was dumped because of bias or because of hate, you know, anything like that whatsoever. Everybody made fair votes except for Kenzie.
Yep.
You know
the
what I'm
ones
saying?
that went had to go.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really all I gotta say about it. Anything else you gotta add, or?
Nope, that's it. I'm looking forward to see how they wrap this baby up.
Yeah, let's see how it ends, man. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. This is A&Jay, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.